Welcome to 12 Biblical Stories, Anthropomorphism, and Lessons of Faith. Meet Blacky, a charming bilingual cat with striking black and white fur, who resides in the vibrant South American city of Santiago de Cali. Blacky is not just any ordinary feline. He possesses a unique ability to blend the wisdom of the Bible, thoughts on their journey, and the significance of the widow's act of kindness. Once, in the bustling Temple of Jerusalem, people from all walks of life came to offer their gifts and donations. Among them was a poor widow with very little to her name. As she approached the offering box, she clutched her last 2 coins tightly in her hand, knowing that this was all she had left. As the widow stood there, the 2 coins, let's call them bronze and copper, began to chat, aware that their fate was about to change. "Can you believe this?" Copper exclaimed, a hint of excitement in his voice. "We're about to be given to the temple. But we're just 2 small coins. What difference can we make?" Bronze, more reflective, replied, "It's not about how much we are worth. It's about the heart of the one who gives us. Look at her, she's giving away her last coins. That's true sacrifice." As the widow dropped them into the offering box, her heart was filled with both sadness and hope. "This may be all I have, but I trust that God will provide for me," she whispered, her eyes glistening with tears. Copper felt a surge of warmth. "She's so brave. Her act of giving is worth far more than the riches of others who give out of abundance." Just then Jesus, who was watching from a distance, turned to his disciples and said, "Truly, I tell you, this poor widow has put more into the treasury than all the others. They gave out of their wealth, but she, out of her poverty, has put in everything, all she had to live on." Bronze turned to Copper, a sense of pride swelling within him. "Did you hear that? We may be small, but our value is immeasurable because of the love and faith behind this gift." As the widow walked away, Bronze and Silver felt a sense of fulfillment. "We might not be worth much in the eyes of the world," Bronze said. "But today, we witnessed something truly profound. Generosity comes from the heart, and that is what matters most." The story of the widow's mite reminds us that the value of a gift is not measured by its monetary worth but by the sacrifice and love behind it. Even the smallest acts of kindness can have a significant impact when given with a sincere heart. So, dear friends, let's learn from the widow and her 2 coins. May we always strive to give generously in our own lives, no matter how big or small our contributions. It is the spirit of giving that truly counts. Story 10, Jesus Calms the Storm. This list of 12 biblical stories, Anthropomorphism, and Lessons of Faith is now at number 10, and my excitement to share another powerful story from the Bible with you does not show signs of quelling. We have arrived at the tale of Jesus calming the storm. This story showcases Jesus' authority over nature and teaches us about faith in the face of fear. In this retelling, we'll give voices to the wind and waves, letting them express their fury and confusion before being calmed by Jesus' command. One evening, Jesus and his disciples set out on a boat to cross the Sea of Galilee. As they sailed, a calm peace enveloped the water, and the disciples felt at ease. But suddenly, dark clouds began to gather, and the winds picked up, swirling with intensity. "Here comes a storm." The wind howled with glee, twisting and turning as it gathered strength. "Let's show them what we're made of. They'll never see it coming." The waves joined in, rising higher and crashing against the boat. "Yes, let's create chaos," they roared, splashing over the sides. "We'll toss them about like leaves in the wind." As the storm raged on, the disciples became terrified. They struggled to keep the boat steady, fear gripping their hearts. "We're going to drown," one cried out, panic in his voice. "Where is Jesus?" Meanwhile, Jesus was sound asleep in the stern of the boat, unfazed by the turmoil surrounding him. The disciples rushed to wake him, desperation in their voices. "Teacher, don't you care that we're drowning?" The wind, feeling triumphant, laughed as it howled louder. "Look at them. They're so afraid. They think they're doomed." But Jesus stood up, looking at the chaos around him. He commanded the wind, "Be still," and turned to the waves, saying, "Quiet." Suddenly, a profound silence fell over the sea. The wind halted its furious dance, and the waves ceased their crashing. They were left in awe, still and calm, as if time itself had stopped. "What just happened?" the wind whispered in confusion. "How did he do that?" The waves, now gentle ripples, replied in wonder, "He has power over us. We thought we were unstoppable, yet his voice commands us." Jesus turned to his disciples, who stood wide-eyed in amazement. "Why are you so afraid? Do you still have no faith?" he asked gently, reminding them of the importance of trusting in him, even in the midst of storms. The disciples marveled at what they had witnessed. "Who is this?" they whispered to one another. "Even the wind and the waves obey him." This incredible story teaches us that no matter how fierce the storms in our lives may seem, we can find peace and reassurance in Jesus. His command brings calmness to our chaos, reminding us to have faith even in the most turbulent times. So, dear friends, let's remember Jesus' lesson of calming the storm. In moments of fear and uncertainty, we can trust in His power to bring peace to our hearts and lives. Let's hold on to our faith and find comfort in knowing that He is always with us, even in the fiercest of storms. Story 11, The Lost Sheep. We are heading down the straight with number 11 of 12 biblical stories, and I'm ready to share a heartwarming parable, The Lost Sheep. This story beautifully illustrates the love and care of a shepherd for each of his sheep. In this retelling, I'll bring the lost sheep to life, portraying it as adventurous and a bit mischievous, while the other sheep express their concern and excitement as they wait for the shepherd's return. Often in a lush green pasture, there lived a kind and devoted shepherd who cared deeply for his flock of sheep. Each day, he led them to fresh grass and clear water, watching over them with love. However, one day, one inquisitive sheep named Aviva decided to wander off, seeking adventure beyond the safety of the flock. "Oh, look at that butterfly!" Aviva exclaimed, chasing after it with glee. "I wonder what's over that hill." With each leap she ventured further away, oblivious to the distance she was putting between herself and the rest of the sheep. Back at the flock, the other sheep began to notice Aviva's absence. "Where did she go?" asked Batya, a concerned sheep with big gentle eyes. "She's been gone too long." "I hope she's okay," bleated Amos, a wise old ram. "She's always getting into trouble. You know how adventurous she can be." As the minutes turned into hours, the shepherd noticed that one of his sheep was missing. "Aviva!" he called out, scanning the fields. When he realized she was gone, his heart filled with concern. "I must find her." Without hesitation, the shepherd left the 99 sheep safely grazing and set off in search of the lost one. Meanwhile, Aviva continued her exploration, having the time of her life, unaware that she was lost. "Isn't this fun?" she giggled as she pranced through the tall grass. But soon, she realized she couldn't see the flock anymore. "Uh-oh, where am I?" Panic began to set in as she looked around, feeling small and alone. Back at the flock, Batya and Amos watched anxiously as the shepherd searched high and low. "He'll find her. He always does," Batya reassured the others. "But what if she gets scared?" Amos replied, his voice filled with worry. Just then the shepherd heard a distant bleat. "Aviva!" he called out, his voice calm but filled with urgency. Following the sound, he soon spotted her trembling under a bush. "There you are, my little sheep," he exclaimed, rushing over to her. "I was so worried." With gentle hands, he lifted Aviva and cradled her close. "You're safe now." Aviva, feeling relieved and loved, nuzzled against the shepherd. "I'm sorry for wandering off. I just wanted to see what was out there." The shepherd smiled, his heart full of compassion. "I understand your curiosity, but you must always stay close to the flock. You are so precious to me." Together, they made their way back to the flock. As they approached, the other sheep erupted in excitement. "Aviva, you're back!" Batya bleated joyfully, and Amos added, "We missed you." The shepherd shared the good news with everyone. "Rejoice, I have found my lost sheep. She is safe and sound." This parable teaches us that every individual is precious and loved, just like Aviva. No matter how far we stray or how adventurous we may be, there is always someone looking out for us, ready to guide us back home. So, dear friends, let's remember the lesson from the lost sheep. May we always seek to care for one another, knowing that love and compassion can bring us back together, no matter how far we wander. Story 12. Daniel in the Lion's Den. Well done, dear friends. For me, Blacky, it is truly exciting to share the final story in our journey through biblical stories with you all. Even Goldie and HRH Liz III are still awake and near me. The powerful account of Daniel in the Lion's Den exemplifies faith, courage, and divine protection. In this retelling, allow me to give voice to Gideon, the eldest and most ferocious lion, who narrates the events and expresses his deep respect for Daniel, as well as his disdain for those who placed him in danger. In the grand city of Babylon, a young man named Daniel lived. He was known for his wisdom, integrity, and unwavering faith in God. He served in the royal court, earning the favor of King Darius. However, his success made him the envy of other officials, who plotted against him. As the sun set behind the palace, Gideon, a magnificent lion with a golden mane, lounged in the den, reflecting on the events that had unfolded. "I may be a fierce creature," he began, his voice deep and resonant. "But there is something truly admirable about that man, Daniel. He is unlike anyone I have ever encountered. Gideon continued, recounting how the jealous officials tricked King Darius into issuing a decree that anyone who prayed to any god or human other than the king for 30 days would be thrown into the lion's den. How cowardly they were, scheming in the shadows to bring harm to an innocent man, Gideon growled, his eyes narrowing in disdain. When the decree was made, Daniel did not falter. He continued to pray to his God 3 times a day, just as he always had. That takes true courage, Gideon said, respect swelling in his chest. He did not let fear dictate his actions. Instead, he stood firm in his faith, even knowing the danger that awaited him. When the officials discovered Daniel praying, they wasted no time in reporting him to the king. They reveled in their triumph, Gideon snarled, anger boiling within him. They thought they had finally rid themselves of the one who was a light in the darkness. Though distressed by the situation, King Darius had no choice but to follow his own decree. He reluctantly ordered Daniel to be thrown into the lion's den. As they lowered him into the den, I felt a sense of injustice. This brave man was being punished for his faithfulness. Gideon sighed, his heart heavy. Once Daniel was inside, Gideon and the other lions gathered around him. I looked into his eyes, and I saw strength and calmness, Gideon recalled. He did not tremble or show fear. Instead, he placed his trust in his God. That night, as the lions prowled, Gideon made a decision. I could sense that Daniel was different. I chose to protect him. With a fierce growl, he warned the other lions to keep their distance. This man is under my protection. He is not our enemy. When morning came, King Darius rushed to the den, fearing the worst. Daniel, has your God saved you? He called, his voice trembling. To everyone's astonishment, Daniel replied, O king, live forever. My God sent his angel and shut the mouths of the lions. They have not harmed me because I was found innocent in his sight. Gideon roared in agreement, pride swelling in his chest. You see, this man has the favor of a higher power. He is a true servant of God. King Darius then commanded that Daniel be lifted from the den and that those who plotted against him be thrown in instead. Let them face the consequences of their wickedness, Gideon declared, his voice echoing in the den. This powerful story teaches us about the strength of faith, the importance of standing up for what is right, and the protection that comes from trusting in God. Just like Daniel, we can find the courage to face our own lions, knowing that we are never alone. So dear friends, let's learn from Daniel and Gideon. In times of challenge and fear, may we stand firm in our faith and remember that true strength comes from trusting in something greater than ourselves. Together, let's embody the courage to face our fears and the compassion to protect one another. As we reach the end of our journey through 12 biblical stories, anthropomorphism and lessons of faith, let us gather all the characters we've met along the way, each with their unique voices and valuable lessons to share. From the adventurous Aviva, the lost sheep, who learned the importance of staying close to the flock and the heartwarming embrace of a loving shepherd, to Gideon, the wise lion who protected Daniel and recognized the true strength of faith, each story has woven together a tapestry of compassion, courage and love. As the winds and waves calmed at Jesus' command, they whispered secrets of peace to all who would listen. The fiery furnace, once a symbol of wrath, transformed into a testament of unwavering faith as Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego emerged unscathed. The coins, copper and silver, proudly reflected the truth that even the smallest acts of kindness can hold immeasurable value. In our hearts, we carry the lessons of the Good Samaritan, who taught us that love knows no boundaries, and the courage of Jonah, who discovered that even in the depths of darkness, there is always a way back to light. The widow's selfless sacrifice reminded us that it's the intention behind our giving that truly counts, while Daniel's steadfast faith in the lion's den illustrated that divine protection is always near when we stand firm in our beliefs. Now, as all the characters come together, they gather in a lush pasture under a starlit sky. The gentle breeze carries their voices, creating a harmonious chorus of wisdom and hope. Together, we are a testament to the power of faith. Aviva bleats joyfully. No matter how far we stray, love will always guide us home. Indeed, Gideon roars, his voice booming with authority. In the face of fear, we must stand strong and protect one another, for we are all part of the same flock. The coins chime in. And remember, it's not about how much you give, but the heart behind the gift that truly matters. As they share their stories, they remind us that each lesson learned is a thread in the fabric of our lives, connecting us all in a beautiful tapestry of faith, compassion, and love. So dear anthropomorphic friends, let us carry these lessons in our hearts as we step into the world. May we be brave like Daniel, compassionate like the Good Samaritan, and faithful like the widow. Let's embrace the power of love and kindness, knowing that together, we can make a difference in the lives of others and reflect the light of faith in all we do. Thank you for joining us on this incredible journey through 12 biblical stories, anthropomorphism, and lessons of faith. Let's continue to share these messages of hope and love, inspiring others to walk in faith and compassion.